women at the digital space, opportunities and barriers. Digital innovation and technology for gender equality. Today, our lives depend on a strong technological integration. Attending a course, calling loved ones, making a bank transaction, or booking a medical appointment. Everything currently goes through a digital process. However, 37% of women do not use the internet. 259 million fewer women have access to the internet than men. Even though they account for nearly half the world population, if women are unable to access the internet and do not feel safe online, they are unable to develop the necessary digital skills to engage in digital space, which diminishes their opportunity to pursue careers in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, popularly known as STEM. These are STEM-related issues by 2050. 75% of jobs will be related to STEM areas. Yet today, women hold just about 22% of positions in artificial intelligence, to name just one. So where are we? These are the issues that will be tricking our brains today. So bringing women into technology results in more creative solutions, have greater potentials for innovation that meet women's needs and promote gender equality. The lack of inclusion, by contrast, comes with massive costs. This perhaps the reason the United Nations observance of IWD, that is International Women's Day, under the theme Digital Innovation and Technology for Gender Equality, recognizes and celebrates the women and girls in all who are championing the advancement of transformative technology and digital education. The observance will explore the impact and the digital gender gap on widening economic and social inequalities. So this is where we are today, and this is the challenge, facing us on the show today. As I said, this is first in a series from TAD Foundation. And again, I sincerely welcome you all to this program, and I hope you will gain a lot and you give us a lot. A lot of other people who are going to join us because of this program will have a lot to gain. So all of us, we are all participants, and we'll have one or two things to say. So as we get along, if you have anything to say or anything to contribute, please just raise your hand, we'll recognize you, or you can reach us via the chat box so we're able to recognize you to make a speech or make any relevant advancement you want us to make. And again, the very first person to speak to us is the one I refer to her as my energy booster, because just when I think I've done it all, I see that she's still moving from one place to another. She does not get tired. On Instagram, you can see her working. On Facebook, she's working outside the digital space. You see her, doing quite a lot of things. Nigeria Tech Rally, a high-tech center for Nigeria women and youths. She's done quite a lot of things, and she doesn't just speak about it, but she does it in such a way that you can see men and women having hands-on, to get things done technologically. So Dr. Umi Hassan is a computer scientist. She's the president CEO High-Tech Center for Nigeria Women and Youth, the founder and national coordinator for the Women and Youth IT Capacity Building Center with expertise in development, full nation building. I just give you a bit of that. You know, if you have quite a lot of information on our website, which is www.tad-foundation.org. Again, www.tad-foundation.org. You can find all the information about our speakers and the things that we do in this foundation. Dr. Wumi Hassan, if you're there, let me herald you right now so that you can start the conversation. You're welcome.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me now, sir?
Yeah, very well, very well, very well, very well.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Good morning.
Okay.
I think it's still morning at this time.
Yeah.
Please apologies. I don't know what happened. The host just lost.
Sometimes, you know, we can't predict.
He didn't want me to join this meeting or talk.
Yeah,
so thank you. It's such a great honor. It's such a great honor to be here. And I want to celebrate what is going on with TAD and welcome TAD on board to this sector. We're looking into women at the digital space. And I want to say, yeah, it's a great privilege to be a woman. And then I want to celebrate every female or women on this platform. Thank you for having me. Today, we are looking at the issues around we women and how we need to be in this space called the digital space. What is it that is our opportunity and what are our barriers? Yeah, I can say that I'm very blessed to have been in this space for quite a while. And it's such a privilege to be working with several men. Yes, we know there are digital gaps, but I have seen men in the space who are very encouraging. People like Dr. Bayero, I can mention on and on. And I want to say to every female that the space is actually excited to have all of us to be there. And then it's been a very exciting time working in that space and ensuring that we pull it out and we do it together. Yeah, while we know that there are quite a few digital barriers. Sorry, I'm actually at another event and I'm meant to be speaking in about 20 minutes there from now. So I had to step out, so please indulge me. Maybe I should remove this video so that you are not distracted by the environment. So, but the obvious is that we have quite a lot of interest in the digital space. There are lots of opportunities for us as females. We have quite a lot of skills. The platform is not gender unfriendly. It's very gender welcoming. I mean, many of us are on so many social media, but we are saying to women in this discussion that beyond the social media, beyond just posting, taking your selfie and pictures and sending, there are quite a lot of opportunities out there for us. And so while we know that there are opportunities, there are also a lot of vulnerabilities. But we are not afraid, because if you do the right thing, if you learn to do the right thing, let me put it that way, if you learn to do the right thing within the space, you will keep safe. And most of the vulnerabilities that affect us as females also affect the men also. It's just that, like in the meeting there's an intro that somebody just said, and I was smiling, and they said, why am I smiling? I said, I am told that there are some banks now that if a woman needed to open an account, they need your husband to sign before they open the account for you. Those are kind of discriminations that we see. If you want to buy a landed property, they want a man to come and do what? Attest that you can manage it. Those are the issues. So, but unfortunately, that is societal norms. And the narratives perhaps are changing gradually, but we need to get the women on board. You know, most of the biggest challenges I have seen with us being in this space for quite a lot of time is the fact that we women ourselves, we are not ready. This event I am in Abuja as I'm speaking with all of you is a free, completely free event. The organizers put so much funding into having this space. They did several advertisements. But I can tell you that the women are not here. Very handful of us are here. And so we have a whole lot of challenge. If it is an Owambe party, which interesting, I am also hosting one soon. We see a lot of women, they are calling you, they are ready. We are there. We need to change. There is a mindset that needs to change in us as females, so that because the lady here just I'm sure with you could feel the frustration in her voice that this event is free. What if we have put a price? Would they have come to be able to say, okay, I have a stake? So even when the opportunities are there for us as females, we rarely show up. I'm sure with the experience of people that are managing TAD and the likes of Dr. Bayero, we could do this kind of virtual meetings. But the truth of the matter is that within the digital space, so many of the things that we need to know to utilize, they are not things you will learn virtually. A lot of people, I have run an NGO for the last 19 years. And I say to people, for the first time, all that iTech has started, we tried virtual classes from January to date as a way of giving back to the society, hosting my birthday for 50. I can tell you that 60% of those who registered actually participated. In fact, if I say 60%, that is trying to rate it a little high. Actually fully participated on all the platforms. I deliberately am on all the platforms. And you will see, especially women, apologizing that, oh, when that class was holding, I had to feed this, that. I had to do this. And I saw that the men that registered, they were all there. They were following the classes. They were doing well. But the females who register is almost like a free course. Many of them did not participate fully. And that's a big issue. In fact, some of them will call me privately and be begging, doctor, we are sorry, when the class was running, I was busy on one outing or the other. Can the class be repeated? We had to repeat and repeat classes for some of those sessions. So we women, we need to be ready. And I'm standing here to be corrected because a lot of times we like that.
That night I was sleeping, I was just prepared to message.
Maybe people call you, they invite you for meetings, they give you lunch, they give you everything. We collect it, we collect tip, transport fare, and we go. And when you ask many of us, what did you benefit in that meeting in the last 1 hour, 2 hours? We really cannot say anything. So that's the beginning of this sensitization. That's the beginning of this awareness. Women must be ready. Number two is the fact that the digital space we are talking about is a space that needed skilled manpower. Skilled manpower. If you want to be a coder, you want to be a programmer, you need to learn how to program. And the languages are coming like on a fast track. You are not just there alone. You need to know there are quite a lot of software that does different things. Today, and you know the good thing about Nigeria, I'm saying the good thing, I'm trying to be a bit sarcastic actually. The good thing about all of us as Nigerians is that once we hear that China has done something, everywhere, the news carries it everywhere. And everybody, all of a sudden, you begin to see associations coming up, association of cybersecurity, association of artificial intelligence, even when we have never done one single robot as a people. So we need to learn, we need to relearn. You will see people who will suddenly become experts and they are the ones speaking at all the great events all over. And I ask them basic questions. What do you know about cybersecurity? If there is a challenge today, somebody robbed a bank and they ask you to go as an IT person to go and prosecute that case, to come and assist them, what will you troubleshoot in that system to know if the person had the challenge? Seriously, these are the skill sets that we, especially as females, I remember many years back working on the digital peers camp hosted by one of us, Mrs. Odushote. A young girl disappeared in the camp and nobody could trace her. And it was going on and everybody was agitated. And all of a sudden I told them, give me a laptop. And they said, Mommy, what will you do with it? I just went through our laptop, went through the BIOS and then logged into our email, and we realized that she had had a particular conversation with this particular person for quite a lot of exchange of messages. And so by the time we traced that message, we realized that the lady was actually with that guy wherever in Lagos. And then we had to send some people there, and they brought her back. I remember when we came back, everybody said, Dr. Mrs., come and teach us what you did. And I asked them, did they not teach us as computer science students? These are things. So we need to go beyond what we all learned in school. And many of us condemn them and say the curriculums are not good. I didn't school so much abroad. My first degree and even all my master's and PhD too are here in Nigeria. But I did particularly went an extra mile to personally build my skill set. When I was doing my IT, I sat down with ladies who know how to do Microsoft Word, who were doing PageMaker. Even though I was an undergraduate, these young women, they didn't go to university that time like me, but they knew how to do PageMaker. They knew how to do books. They knew how to format. I sat down with them and I learned it. I want to plead to all my females and even the male here today, because this year's theme is about equity. And what that means to me, even though it is International Day for Women, it is about equity. It is about understanding that even the knowledge that you and I need in tech is not a knowledge for you alone. Because if you have a man that knows it with you, you can complement each other. And I can tell you that most of the things that Wunmi Azan knows in the skill set today, I went through males, men, from all the time I have been in this section, in this industry. I have taken myself by the mercies of God to say, sir, I know you know this. Can you teach me? We should be humble for people to teach us. The solar panel, the technologies we are building today, I saw that some people who didn't go to school, I'm the one enrolling one of them in the university recently, because it's so vast in the technology. They know it, and I sat down with them, teach me. When they taught me and I began to teach others, I want to encourage us, because when we talk about these things and every woman says, oh, give us space, give us space. Space to do what? Space to just be there and show our fine face. It's good to slay. I love to slay too, but we must slay with our brains. We must slay with our tech know-how. And this is what I believe, that for TAD starting up like this is a sensitization to us that the digital space has opportunities. There is no, to this week alone, I have speaking almost every day in different events. It isn't just because it is Dr. Wunmi Azan or is the CEO of iTech Center. It's because somebody must have seen something in me that thinks that you can deliver it. And that is a challenge I want to throw to all my sisters that are on this platform, on this call, to say, you just make up your mind. If it is software, know the software very well. And one of the very interesting things about the digital economy we're talking about is that you can know a little about everything. You can know a little about everything. And that way you can begin to perfect as you go on in the skill set, because you don't know where you're going to meet yourself. At the time, Wunmi Azan, I found myself working with government and I needed to do policy. So my PhD work had to go to technology, looking at the tech sector and the policies around it. Over time, I found myself where it was just a lab and I need to be a network engineer. I started exploring, learning how to configure all the networks. I found myself at a campus at a time, and I was privileged to be in their server room. That means I needed to know about communications, and I started learning it. So ladies, I want to encourage you, wherever you are working, don't make it look like this is not your dream. Your dream and your career, you don't even define it immediately. You can begin to learn as you go. And this is what the tech space, the person hosting the event I am in Abuja, she's an architect, but she's one person that is driving technology learning for ladies. So this is why technology has become a closure. Everybody is inclusive. It's a tool for every sector, for every field of study or expertise. Everybody is using technology. You must learn it. When I was a youth corps member, I was posted to an audit department in Michelin at Port Harcourt. When I got there and I was wondering, where is the software I thought I would be doing here? I was the one that created an audit software for the department. You just have to look for a way to fit in. That's what they taught me when I was in the university. IT people, we are for everybody. We are related to everywhere. So if there's a skill set wherever you are, if you are selling things, there is a digital literacy, there is information marketing you need to learn. Go and learn it. And this is the way we can actually take advantage of the opportunities that are all over in the tech space. That's not to say there are barriers. One of the big barriers for women especially is that something that probably Dr. Bayero can work in somewhere now and harness funding Wumi Azan will be hesitant. Hesitant because maybe they will look at you as a woman. And like I'm told this morning, which I have experienced, banks, for instance, will ask me hundreds of questions to set up an institution for me or to set up, a factory that I want to set up. But if it is a man, maybe that's good. But we are actually doing a lot of advocacy now to ensure that we break those kind of barriers. If you see capability in what I'm doing, if you see that the product that is coming from my organization is great, is good, and you want to invest into it, invest into us, and then let us work as professionals. The fact that all of us became who we are in IT, you studied mathematics, you did chemistry, you did physics, and you passed. That means you and your male counterparts can compete favorably without you getting afraid. And wherever you are, it is not a barrier. I also got married. My husband took me all the way from Lagos, and I had to find myself at the Obafemi Awolowo University. Instead of it being a barrier, I took advantage of it. And that was where so many things begin to happen. Every nook and cranny of that technology is what is important. What is my emphasis in this first presentation? It is about skill and reskilling. It's about learning and relearning. It's about exploring every possibility. Artificial intelligence, don't let's just talk about it. Can we dare to say, what is it about it? What can I come up with? Even if you do it and it's not looking so fantastic like the robots that they show us from China, but let it come out of something. And all of us, everything they have taught us in school, can we go back a little, 1 week, 2 weeks, and dust your notes again and begin to find relevance and how you can apply it to, first of all, things that are happening around you. And I want to believe at this point, maybe there are other questions, I will attend to them. But I want to encourage all my sisters. The sky is even our beginning. The sky is our beginning. And we must understand that the tech space has several opportunities, either locally or globally. A lot of people are working from their home and they are working for different organizations abroad, and they are making their monies either in dollars or euros or pounds. You are here, you can service people, you can do anything. And the online, your mobile devices that all of us carry, they are the tools for us to work anywhere. But you must know. What you don't know, you cannot give. That is what I want to encourage us. In this year, as we say that it's about digital, it's about technology and digital understanding. Females, everyone within our space, we must keep learning. And I know very soon we will become shining lights in this tech space that all our men will be very proud of, and they will run after us. Thank you. Not running after you for anything, but running after you for the fact that they know you can make a difference in the economy, and then you will be a light that shines. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. We really do appreciate your time, and we appreciate your knowledge. We appreciate your speech, always as detailed and having issues to point. But just before I let you go, we're going to make some adjustment after you. Before the next speaker, we're going to have one of our own. He was supposed to give the opening remark, but because of the technical issues, we just had to go ahead. Okay, but here, okay, he said we should continue. This one is more of like observation. According to the International Telecoms, there are about 37% of women who do not have access to the internet. 259 million fewer women have access to the internet than men, even though they cannot for nearly half they account for nearly half of the world population. But even those that have access to the internet, how much have they been able to use the internet? So is it an issue of, be deliberate at not using technological tools to empower themselves on the women's side, or is just a digital gulf that cannot be closed except by deliberate policies from government? Are you there, ma'am? She's off. Okay, so if any of our listeners and viewers, if you heard what Dr. Wumi Hassan said, if you have any comment or suggestions, please let us know. I can see Comfort, is joining us as Comfort Ajayi. I think I saw Councillor Wumi. Okay, Denuga joining us. I see quite a number of people. I see Ifi joining us. Please, if you're joining us, type your name fully. Okay. This is a question, Victor. Okay. Is this a question? No, this is not just a comment. Okay. We have Mrs. Odukoya also joining us. Quite a number of people with so many. There's Demi joining us and all that. We thank you all for joining us. Okay, Madam, can you hear us now before we let you off the hook? Okay, I think she signed up. Okay, thank you very much for joining us. I don't know if the second speaker is ready now, guys. Is she ready? That is Barrister. Is she ready? If she's not ready, then
Hello?
I can take questions.
Barrero, I'm here.
Okay, you're
Hello.
Okay. Thank you very much, Madam, for joining us. We really do appreciate
Thank you very much.
your time. It's okay. So just before you start, okay. If you have any question before she starts, please let us know so that we can all be on the same page. Any question, please let us go to the comment section before we go to the next person. Any question on the comment section? Okay, no comment on the comment section. Okay. Are we ready? Okay, great. Thank you very much for joining us. Let me look like the prof. I'm not yet, So. Okay, the next speaker will also excite you because it's a woman who has achieved so much in this environment. We talk about digital golf, heralded by lack of, capacity, lack of infrastructure, and environmental issues that, debar women from, leveling up with women in this digital environment. And one thing that is pretty clear is none can thrive today without, having digital tools or using digital tools to enhance or leverage his or her business. So that is why we're discussing these issues, and we find it really very, very, very important. From law to trading to, you don't have to be a computer scientist today to benefit or leverage, what technology can do for your business and for yourself, even for education, so we can have education from the comfort of our rooms today, and we have our certificates sent to us. So it's quite, very important that of all of us joining across the world, we listen to our presenters and then be able to ask questions where you have some blank spaces. Hadiza Ali Dagabana holds an LLB from the Bayero University, that is my school if you like, and a master's degree in international law and diplomacy from the University of Lagos, and a postgraduate diploma in international tax law from Robert Kennedy College and Dartmouth, Switzerland. She is also an alumnus of the J.F. Kennedy School of Government, Harvard University, USA. She was departmental liaison officer and later head of anti-corruption and due process in the Bureau of Public Enterprises. She transferred her skills to transactional cooperation, Nigeria, that is Transcorp, and was seconded to the Nigeria Telecommunications Company, that is NITEL, as a secretary legal advisor. So she's done quite a lot of things, and today she's head of legal at NIMSI, that is the National NIMSI, we all know NIMSI, National Identity Management Commission. That is NIMSI, the ones that give us the name with which we identify who we are and what we need to do. And for more information about her, please just join us. Go to our website, tad-foundation.org. tad-foundation.org. You can find all of our information there. What with experiences in cybercrime, management, JAM. She's done quite a lot. She's done quite a lot. So it is my pleasure to welcome Madam Hadiza Ali Jagaban. Madam, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Viro. And
hello,
good afternoon already. Is it still morning?
You're welcome.
Yeah, sorry, I'm at the airport and I may have some interruptions while I'm talking. Good morning, everyone. I came in at the end of Dr. Wumi's presentation, and I think I'm going to pick something that she discussed to elaborate on, and that is opportunity. Opportunities are abound for women, but the question is, do they tap into them, or are they waiting for somebody to hand it over to them? So it's the mindset actually and interest. So as a woman, you have to be interested in the subject matter, and being interested, you have to make sure that you have all the requisite skills that will make you relevant in that sector that you are trying to venture into. Digital literacy, I've looked at so many studies, and what I have seen is from where I'm coming from, the northern part of the country, the studies shows that we are far behind, more especially the women there. But then when you look at the studies, on what basis are the studies being made? It's literacy as in the Western sense of it. But that is where all the studies are coming from. You don't term a person illiterate because he cannot communicate in Western language. You can't go to China and term a Chinese illiterate because he can only communicate in Chinese. But in English, same way you can't go to the Eastern countries and term them illiterate. So literacy is depends on who is defining it. But be it as it may, opportunities are there. There are quite a lot of people, more especially women, that are trying to tap into the digital world. But the key issue for me here is you have the opportunity, you have the interest, and you are tapping into it. How are you using that access that you have? What are you using it for? Is it for something that is going to be beneficial to you, or is it just because you want to be on the digital landscape, you want to be on the social media and the rest of it? Awareness is key. Awareness also as to access, and then awareness as to how you utilize that space that you venture into, which is where issue of cyber hygiene comes in. There are so many women, youth that are going into the digital space, but how prepared are they? How prepared are they to observe the etiquette of being on that space? I can tell you, for example, that I know in the north, the advent of the mobile phone, the digital space, other apps such as Instagram, WhatsApp has really assisted so many women that may not even be literally educated in the Western sense to kind of their economic empowerment. Because I know so many of them that may not have shops to go to, or may not have schools to go to, have businesses that they run within the confines of their homes. And they are utilizing the digital space to sell their market and to get customers for themselves. So that is quite something that over the last 3 years, and I know there are many, many influencers, northern bloggers, that utilize the digital space to educate and enlighten and even bring out some of the vices, try to bring out some of the moral and cultural issues for their followers to adhere to. And at the same time, there are those that do not even understand or do not utilize that space for some beneficial economic, socio-economic benefit, but rather, for some negative display and the rest of it. So really, opportunities are there abound for both male and female. Women, I don't think we are. I don't look at us as a disadvantaged group because we are more influential than the male folks if you look at it, because we are mothers, we are sisters, we are wives to the men and things like that. So it's seeing an opportunity, seizing the opportunity and making yourself ready and relevant to tap into that opportunity. That is the key things that women will have to look into. So being a woman, I will just give myself an example. I'm a lawyer by profession. I'm not an IT person, but then I found myself working within the IT telecom sector and now in identity management. So I have no choice, being a lawyer, working in that environment, to make myself relevant at all times. And I can only make myself relevant by going to, sorry, like this. I forgot to put sorry, I'm connecting from my phone and the calls are coming in. I forgot to put this on. Hello, can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello?
Can hear
Yes.
you.
Yes.
We can
Clearly.
hear you, please.
So when you find yourself in an environment, you have to find ways. I had to go into cybersecurity law. I had to go into data protection law. I had to get myself certified to make sure that I can speak as a lawyer, as the legal advisor of an organization. I can speak on the subject matter. I have to know the technology that my organization is operating. I have to know the technical terms. I have to understand the technology, how it works, how the process is, so that I will be able to document when I give my advice. I will give it with I will give informed communications and things like that. The interests, and we have to develop the skills. The opportunities are there; they are abundant out there, and we have to push for it. It cannot be handed to us, so we have to work for it and push for it to get what we want. Thank you.
Please, you are muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Madam. We do appreciate your time because we understand that you had quite a lot of things to engage in this morning, and you still have to spare this time with us. The only question I'd like to clear from you is this digital issues, digital gap between, women and growing their careers and growing themselves educationally. Are they likened to issues of the environment or policies that are not in place? Or should there be deliberate policies targeted at women using digital technologies to upscale their businesses? Because I do not think that you have to be a computer scientist to be able to use the digital, technologies, that are available today, because we'll now all play within the digital realm, if you like, call it digital economy or the information space. So what are the
Byron,
major challenges here in terms of bullet
Byron,
points?
Byron, the policies are there. I believe there has to be a general policy for the industry, and then access to digital platforms should be made, at least like the infrastructure should be in place, the access to internet, and then to policy to make it affordable to each and everyone. You know, you can, in this kind of space, you can't say you are going to have something different for women. You understand? The only thing is to make sure that as many women as possible are able to understand what the digital world is all about, what is coming, what are the things that they need to do, and be educated. And forums such as this that are that are sector specific, that target specific category of persons, such as women, should be encouraged to do that. But policy-wise, it has to be a general policy, and then it is left for institutions that are targeting women, such as the Ministry of Women Development, Ministry of Education, to make sure that they encourage women to see those policies and to tap and be able to participate within that step.
So the
Women
issue is
cannot be
more of awareness.
Yeah, women cannot be spoon-fed.
So it's more of awareness. So any other question before we let her off the hook? If you have any question, please just let us know so that we just put it across to her. Okay. This one was for Dr. Wumi Hassan. I think she's gone. Okay. Some she has responded to via the chat room. So if you have more questions, please you can send to the chat room or you can send to her directly. We can also get the answers for you. Okay. For Nsa raise her hand. So let's hear what she has to say. Nsa. So,
Sir, am I clear?
okay.
Thank you so much, and thank you, sir, for the presentation. Please, my question, I actually have a question, and my question is based on the marginalized communities. So how can we promote digital inclusion for women and girls, particularly those in the marginalized communities? Because I also noticed that most these women are not being carried along. So how can we promote this inclusion? Thank you.
A good question. Maybe let me follow up before she answers you. When you say marginalized, how are they marginalized? In what areas are you talking about?
Okay, so for instance, most women who possibly might be in the rural communities who might not have the necessary abilities to also be part of this, but they are interested, right? They are interested, they need the skill, but they don't have those necessary abilities to be part of it. How can we include them in digital economy or digital space? And possibly some other women, let me say some other women who are like in the IDP camps and the displaced people and all of that, how can we include them in this? That's general inclusion.
Okay, Haji,
I think
you're still there.
Yes, I have listened, I've heard her. The policy and the policies are for everybody. And marginalized, the way you put it, either location or by circumstances where they become refugees or misplaced persons. I believe that the most important thing is to make sure that wherever they are, the infrastructure is made available there. There's connectivity where they are, and then so that even if they have the tools, the devices to use the digital space, at least they will be able to reach out and be able to connect. And secondly, is education, enlightenment. And then what do they need skills to do the kind of skills they have. It's not every skills that you have to be on the digital space, but there's like in a community, in an IDP community, what skills are they been what skills are they acquiring, what new skills or what skills that they already had in their previous communities are they being enhanced or whatever. Does it need that? And if it needs that, then it is for the relevant authority that is in charge for them there to make sure that they bring access and education and enlightenment to them and to the rural community. Like I know in some states, I have seen some youth, some fintech in the north that have that develop some application for farmers in the rural villages, and it is working. These farmers are able to upload their communities commodities in a centralized on a centralized platform. Those people know what they produce, what the market, they will be able to determine what the market rate for the community. I have seen that, and I was really impressed by the group of those young boys that developed that. So it's and then thirdly, I think it's for each and every one of us. We have families in one village or the other. The way when the mobile phone came in, that we were afraid that people in the rural areas would not be able to use the mobile phones to call. We all bought phones and went to our villages, grandmothers, aunties, and uncles, and taught them how to call Emeka or to call Hadiza or to call Baero. We taught them how to do that. So it's on us also, every opportunity we have to give back by enlightenment, by teaching. Each and every one of us, we can start with 1 or 2% to do it. We don't have to wait for the government to do it. We don't have to wait for organizations such as CAD to go and do it. So we too, in our individual capacity, what are we doing to make it better, to get the information out there to people we know?
Yes, sir. Please, I have this important question now, sorry. And I also know that in I don't want to use only the tech industry, but I want to ask, how can we cultivate the culture of mentorship for females? Because I've noticed that some females, when they get high there, they don't really set that pace for other younger females to follow. And they don't also really make themselves approachable that other younger females who might want to learn what they have learned, right? To also get that knowledge from them. So how can we cultivate this culture of mentorship so that the person who has gotten up there can also mentor the younger one who is interested in similar field to also get high there? So it's just that culture of mentorship. How can we cultivate that for females?
I believe that is individualistic, because I may want to mentor someone, or I may be interested in making other people follow him in my step. Another person may not be. So it
Okay, so who's asking this question?
depends on the person. But the employer, am I still on? Hello, am I on? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you very well. We can hear you very well.
So the most important thing, even for you as a young person, is to make sure that what you do, your actions, the way you carry yourself, you make sure that there are people below, or people that you come across that look at you, that look at you, that admire you, and that may need to do your outward appearance, your conduct, and the rest of it. But then, as an individual, if a person is interested in mentoring, then I think you should identify, even if it is in your workplace, in your homes, in your area where you live, where you live, you can mentor. I can give you an example. When I was growing up, actually, I was in secondary school. I identified some women that were interested around my area. They have not been to school, but I was in secondary school. Every time I'm in on holiday, I go to their houses. I started from primary one book. We finished up to primary five books so that they will be able to read and write in English. You get it? So these are not even people that are below you. These are people that are my mother's age, people that have, not young as I am. And then you look at it in your office. There are people you work with, maybe your colleagues. You don't have to, it's not only those below you that you mentor, you even mentor your colleagues because you sit down, you interact, you share experiences. That's another form of mentoring. And then for the lower cadre, you make sure that as you go on, because you learn from someone, it may not be directly, we may be indirectly, you learn from what you saw somebody senior to you doing. So you have to also give back by making sure that when you work with people, you correct them. But these days, uh, I don't know. I don't want to categorize or give a tag to it. But mentoring does not mean that you should just fold your arms until somebody teach you. We went through school for a purpose so that we can have basic knowledge. That's why we went through university. But it doesn't mean that it is what you are taught in school. When you are in the field working, there are so many things that you've not been taught in the school. But the most important thing is that you had that background in your school, whether it is secondary school or university, for you to be able to be analytical when you are out there in the field. So mentoring is important. It may be direct, it may be indirect. And I believe it depends on the person doing the mentoring. Some are interested in doing it, some are not interested. You can't force somebody to do what they are not interested. But if you find a person that is interested in mentoring, then all good and fine. And the more we have people mentoring others, the better for us in the society.
Attention please, LP slightly for 7864 to answer at gate 6. LP slightly for 7864 to answer gate 6. Final body call, please. Thank you.
So please, you're muted. We can't hear you.
Yeah, but Obina did said something. He said if there are specific job roles or jobs, for women and that of men in the digital ecosystem.
There's none. Everybody can do whatever job you want to. If you are interested in a particular role, you can do it. So by the time you start differentiating that these rules are for women, these rules are for men, that's when you bring the inequality. If a person at some years back, you don't find women in engineering. It used to be male dominated. But then you have them now here. You have them. You will see them on construction site with their helmet working. If a person is able to assimilate and be able to learn a particular skill, then so be it.
Okay, thank you very much. We do appreciate. Any other thing? This is Olumide. Okay. What's Olumide saying? Olumide, you are there. This is the last question, please, so that we can.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I just wanted
to
move Nsa's question a step forward. Thank you, Dr. Hadiza. I can understand that the personality.
I'm not a doctor.
Okay, sorry.
I'm not Dr.
Okay, because I have been seeing professors and doctors. Okay, I just thought that yes, mentoring, yes, the individual ability, accessibility is important. But I think the question Nsa is trying to get at is, and you as a public policy participant, is it possible for us to get organizations to actually define through policy a mentoring process or procedure that can then help us get these people immersed in the digital space or whatever space that we're talking about. That's just all I wanted to add. Thank
Yeah,
you.
maybe at the central level there may be a policy, but specifically I can give you an example in my organization. Every department, the 9 departments we have in the organization, you must have hold regular meetings. And when you hold regular meetings, like what I do in my department, every lawyer that is in that department and the non-lawyers that are in that department, every staff has a topic at the beginning of the year that you go and research. You research, you come at, we have 2 meetings in a week. The second meeting you present, we discuss, you know. I don't present. I allow everybody to present. We discuss, we bring out the issues or areas that they need to improve so that everyone is on the know. And on a monthly basis, there's a program we call Learning with Research, an evening with research. This evening with research, we have internal and external persons that come in on subject matters to come and educate the staff within the commission. So this, it depends. And I believe we have that because we have a DG that is an academic that is very, I knew as far back as when he was a director, you write a memo, you come to him, by the time he will review your document, he will sit you down, he will take you through this sentence, this line, or this thinking. Every day, even as it is now, every day he's reading, he's going to for one certification. And as he's getting some books, summaries of books, he's sending to every management staff to review and things like that. So I believe it's if you are lucky to have a head that is that, and but I believe the public service too should have as a rule something like that. There's regular public service courses. You don't have to leave the confines of your offices to go to another town or the other for learning. Even within, you should be able to develop. And I believe this is what, if you are in an organization, you should try as much as possible to encourage that internal learning. Even on the work, you learn. You don't have to. You can even bring subject matters that are not what you are doing in your offices. So that everybody can be enlightened. It's a form of enlightenment and education. Yes.
There's someone who's really, really pushing. If you can check, you will see Talatu Bello, is really pushing for the last question, Please, if you are there, please make it very brief so that she can leave. We can give her some time to. You ready?
Okay, Mr. Moderator, I don't know, can you hear me?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, we can hear you very well, pretty well.
Yes, my name is Dr. Talatu. I am domiciled in the Department of Political Science, Taraba State University, somewhere located in the northeastern part of Nigeria. I am a consultant on gender and social inclusion, and I stumbled across this flyer, and I was so excited. I said I would make it a date to attend this webinar. And I'm very happy for the organizers. You're doing a wonderful job. And I am here, I want to make some contribution. The first presenter and the second one have done quite wonderfully well. And their conversation was quite inspiring. And what they said is true, is real. And but I want to look at, I want to push this discussion to explore the gender dimension or the intersection of gender to the issue of digital space or digital innovation and technology. Because until we understand the intersection or the connection between gender or my being a woman and this issue of digital innovation and technology, we will be losing out in quite very important perspective that we should all explore or we should all try to understand
to make policies or to make our actions, to address these barriers in terms of gender that will enable women to come up and first understand, explore the opportunities, and begin to take active part in the digital space, whether we like it or not. When you sit me down telling me the opportunities there in the digital space, for me, I know and I appreciate that. And I'm making effort to push down these barriers, okay, for me to step up. But we want to know how many of people like me are available. Don't forget, we're talking about gender equality, okay? So these barriers in terms of, negative gender norms, okay, that are practically prohibiting women from taking parts, okay, or coming up, okay, or trying to escape this inequality to make informed choices and to also, what I'm trying to say is this. It is beyond this, the simple fact that you need to explore opportunities. You need to want to know. You need to push yourself to know, okay? This is gender equality issue, okay? So we must understand the intersection between this gender and this digital space we're talking about so that we can be able to help women, or we be able to make policies or actions or responses tailored to the needs of women, okay? Specific and special needs of women in order to help them liberate themselves and begin to explore the digital space. I am quite mindful of the fact that I came across very interesting statistic that says 75% of economic values in the nearest future will be driven by digital platform. Okay, now here we are in this Nigeria, okay, and in my own location in the northeastern part of Nigeria, where there are challenges in terms of barrier, negative social norms, okay, that are prohibiting women, okay, from even acquiring knowledge, okay, talk more of acquiring knowledge in terms of digital technology. Okay, now some of these barriers, some of these challenges are even institutionalized. Okay, some of these things that we have to do it, and we have to be deliberate in addressing these challenges in terms of gender before we can even be talking about whether women are interested in acquiring knowledge or in stepping up to exploring digital space or not. Okay, and please, let us not forget the fact that I am empowered, okay, because I'm educated, okay? But how many of people like us are there? We are very few. And if we continue to move like that, the very few women in the digital space will begin to suffer exclusion in one form or the other. If we don't explore this gender intersection with this digital innovation and technology, even when we move into this space and we are acting, there are exclusion in terms of gender that will knock us out, whether we like it or not. We're talking about the content in digital content. How many of women are available in creating this knowledge in the digital space? There is gender dimension of this. So please, for me, it is far beyond this. Let women aspire, let women, Thank you very much. Let me stop here. You have told me to be brief, and thank you.
Thank you very much. Are you there?
Okay.
Yeah. So you can carry on now.
Okay. Hello, Dr. Talatu. Thank you very much. I'm not how do I say it? I don't want to be misinterpreted, but I don't believe there's anything that is equal. Even our fingers are not equal. So I don't believe in gender equality. I believe opportunities are out there for all of us to tap into. And I believe as a woman, It is my responsibility to push my women folk to be able to tap into those opportunities. When you look at the digital economy policies and strategies for the country, there are deliberate attempts to make sure that women are pushed into the digital space and activities of media, for example, because there are specifically tailored trainings that were that are being carried out nationwide for the women folk, for them to understand and participate in digital space. Yes, uh, I don't know the way you call it, inequality or access. Yes, I know there are cultural barriers. They are actually cultural barriers from where we are coming from and not actually religious barriers, because religion allowed me to go as far away as China to look for education. And education, it did not say religious education, any form of education that I'm going for. I'm as a woman, I'm a human being that has that right to acquire education. What is restricting women from where we are coming from, especially in the north, is cultural, not religious. And then even when we do that, then the problem is, how do we utilize the education we acquire? There are a lot of women that may be educated, but then they misuse that education. And by misusing that education, you kind of prevent others from allowing their children to look for education. That's not an excuse, quite all right. But I believe, like you said, yes, I will repeat it, there are opportunities, but at the same time, there are specific targeted policies by government, whereby specific institutions go out there to make sure that they bring in women, specifically trainings for women to acquire these digital skills. But the most important thing is that let the policies be there, let the access be there, and then let awareness be there. Awareness not only of what the digital space is all about, awareness about how to use the digital space effectively to the benefit, not in negative form. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. We appreciate your time, and we thank every participants. Please, if you have any question or comment, please, we have an email, info@tad-foundation.org. You can send your information there. If you spoke about mentorship, about career progression, about skills, knowledge, acquisition, and all of those, please send your information to that email, that info@tad-foundation.org. So we will address all of those things. Thank you very much to our speaker. And we still have another speaker coming up. I've just seen Madam Yemi Adenugana joining us from outside the country. Thank you very much, Madam, for being there. And know you're going to ask 1 or 2 questions or a comment at least. It's okay. So our next speaker is an investor, an entrepreneur, a writer, and a mentor. Tim Akao is an investor, an entrepreneur, a writer, and author, mentor, and life coach. After his 2 decades in the business world, working with multinational conglomerates, today he is the MD CEO of New Horizons Solutions Nigeria Limited, a franchise of the world's largest computer training institute. New Horizons is based in Lagos and in Abuja and in other places across the country. If you need more information about this great man, please log on to www.tad-foundation.org. I've just been told by my boss here, so that Yemi Adenuga is ready to send us a response. So for just a minute, sir, team, I can please give us a minute so that we can hear from Yemi Adenuga. She's switching us from Ireland. Madam Councillor Yemi Adenuga, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Bayero, Dr. Agabe, if I may say. And good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here. And thank you for having me. I want to say well done to Dr. Tosin Dokasi, the initiator of TAD, and to the members of the team for the incredible work they're doing. And just very quickly, I won't take much of the time, just to make one or two contributions to the speakers. First of all, I want to say well done to the speakers, incredible contributions. And to start off by saying, platforms like this, conversations like this are really essential for what we're talking about. The doctor mentioned earlier, and I think the last speaker talked about the intersectionality, the things that connect us, and the things that will enable us empower our young girls and our women, divorced of cultural and systemic hindrances. Startups are like this, are what we need. If you think back to a couple of years ago, we wouldn't even have had the opportunity to have this type of conversation amongst women. The likes of Dr. Agabi they'd been visionary enough years and years ago. I mean, I've known Bayero for years, and he was visionary enough long ago when we didn't even know what digital meant to delve into this space. First thing is, we need allies. Women need allies. We need the men who have sat at decision-making tables, men who have been able to open spaces like this ahead of women. We need them as allies. And it's not enough to have, yes, I do agree with the last speaker that it's not enough to have this type of conversations, but we need to start with this type of conversations and then progress them. So today, we're talking, we're sharing, what are we going to do with all of the information we gather today? How do we progress? That is key. So it's not enough to just have these conversations. We need to take them and then action them. So I'm calling TAD to action, taking information from today and then progressing them. Second thing, it's about mentorship. I've been a mentor for 26 years. I've mentored over 22,000 people in different parts of the world over the 26 years. And I agree with the speaker before the last about people who are willing to mentor. Not everyone is willing to mentor, but everyone has the opportunity to mentor. Mentorship is about you willing to pour of yourself, share what you know, empty yourself for other people to become better as you empower them. So I would encourage everyone here today, you have something to give. There's no hard and fast rule about mentorship. Whatever it is you have to give, it could be to a young girl. Mentorship has a ripple effect. You impact one, you impact many. One becomes two, two becomes four, four becomes eight, eight becomes 16, and it grows like that. So everybody here, the call to action is, whatever you already know, you may think you don't know something, but you do know something. That little thing you know, pass it on. Pass it on to somebody. That way, you're also becoming a mentor. And as you mentor, you also learn. And as you learn, you share. So let's not wait for big and mighty, magical people to come and start mentoring from somewhere. We all have a role. And for those of us as well who feel that we need to learn more, let's find people, let's approach people who we believe can mentor us and ask them. Let's not just look at people on the screen and say, oh, this is my role model, this is my mentor, people who don't know who you are. Approach people who you want to learn from and ask them to mentor you. Give them the chance to say no, but don't assume that they will say no. And last but not the least, I want to encourage everyone here today. We can learn something about tech. I didn't know jack about tech a couple of years ago. I live in the Republic of Ireland. I'm an elected public rep. And as by virtue of my day job as a people development strategist, I was approached by several companies who always ask me when I go to speak at the places, would you become a champion for women? Would you become a champion for this? And I had to now delve into tech and start learning about it. And today in the Republic of Ireland, I'm a champion for women in tech. So We may not know how to do it now, but we can learn. Start the little you know, like I said before, start sharing with people. It's not as difficult as we think. The first thing is you have to be open-minded enough to want to do it, to want to know it, and to unlearn so that you can relearn. I'll leave it there for today. Thank you for the opportunity, and well done to Tad again and the team. Please keep doing this. The conversations are very important. They're as important as the actions as they come. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We do appreciate your comments. So, Mr. T. Macau, I think you're still there.
Yes, I'm still there. Can you hear me?
Okay, it's okay. Let me just refresh our, participants, mind that Dr. T. Macau is an investor, entrepreneur, writer, author, mentor, and a life coach. After his 2 decades in the business world, working with multinational conglomerates, today he is the MD CEO of New Horizons Solutions Nigeria Limited, a franchise of the world's largest computer training institute. Mr. T. Macau, we dearly and sincerely welcome you to today's show. Thank you very
much.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining us. And if you need information about him, please just log on to www.tad-foundation.org. You can get much more about T. Macau. You're welcome, sir. The floor is open.
Yeah. Can you see my slides? Can you see my slides?
Yes. Please, everyone, write down your questions. I know you're going to have a lot of questions for him.
Yes, once again, good afternoon, everyone. And I'm happy to be here today. I want to appreciate the organizers of this program for the great job they are doing. I have really benefited a lot from the last 4 or 5 speakers who have spoken to the topic we're about to discuss again, which is the digital space opportunities, barriers for the women. I tried to divide it into, excuse me. Sorry, my system is hanging. Let me.
Because from the slides, you can see that all aspects will be touched. So I think it's having some technical issues, and all that will be sorted in minutes.
Sorry, the slides hang. On the first slide, I tried to, I started with the UN Secretary General statement about 2 weeks ago. He said that gender equality is vanishing before our eyes, and it's going to take about 300 years to achieve equality, if ever we're able to succeed. As of today, 90% of the available jobs globally require digital skills, and 60% will require sophisticated digital skills by 2030. This gives a challenge and an opportunity for people, for women especially. Also, I try to bring out some facts for women hold only 26% 66.7% of tech-related jobs. And 78% of women in tech believe that they have to work harder than their male colleagues to prove their worth. And also, more than 50% of bachelor's degree are awarded to women, but most are still in discipline outside of science, technology, engineering, and math. And according to UNESCO, only 35% of STEM students in higher education globally are women. So which means about 65% of students who study science, engineering are men. Again, we have 1 in 5 girls has left social media because of harassment and things like that. Also, some points to note. Fortune magazine in 2018 carried out a research. Out of the 716 women surveyed, 85% of them who left industry cite maternity leave policy as a hindrance to their career. We all know that when women give birth, it takes them 2 months to recoup, some it takes them 6 months, some it takes them a year plus. Also, men earn up to 61% more money than women. According to IFC, women could add over 300 billion to the e-commerce market between now and 2030 if digital inclusion is prioritized. And according to United Nations, developing countries have lost about $1 trillion in the last 10 years because of low participation of women in technology. I have an interesting slide here, which talks to the percentage of male and female on the internet. The case of Africa is very pathetic. When you see Africa, we have 24% of women on the internet as against 35% of men. But when you look at Europe, where the last speaker is, they've achieved parity. We have in Europe today, we have 83% of women on the internet and 87% of men on the internet. And the most interesting one is even the Americas. When you look at the Americas, we see that that's the only continent where women are more on the internet than men. In Americas, we have 79% of men of women on the internet as against 78% of women on the internet. And then when we look at the Arab countries, they are even better than Africa. In Arab states, we have 50%, 56% of women on the internet as against 68% of men. So the importance of being on the internet cannot be emphasized because most things today, whether financially and otherwise, they all happen on the internet. The next slide talks to the fantastic tech opportunities for women. And I said that this is the best time to be alive. I mentioned here that ICT sector contributed about 10.4% to the global nominal GDP in 2022, amounting to about $346 billion, which was higher than what happened in 2021. And in 2028, it is projected to reach 690, almost $700 billion. That's tech contribution to global GDP. But there's another interesting point here. When you look at the total growth rate of IT contribution or technology contribution to GDP, globally we are growing at 4.2%, but India is the fastest growing. India is growing at 9.47% yearly. And this also have an impact, negative and positive, on both men and women. Here, I listed 13 hottest opportunities for women to pursue in technology. The first one I listed here is programming, web app development. I mentioned here that the new technologies like augmented reality, virtual realities, they all need mobile apps development, which women can fully participate in. And also, I mentioned here skills like platform engineering, which is one of the newest and hottest skills in IT today. This set of people are the ones who connect both the software and the hardware together to make sure that an organization runs seamlessly. In this area, for any lady or woman who has a skill here, we have zero unemployment rate globally. There is nobody who has skill in platform engineering or DevOps that will be unemployed. So this is a big opportunity for women who are looking for areas to actually advance. Third one, I put data analytics, data science. I call it the elephant in the room. Data science experts, if you are very skillful, they earn as much as $150,000 US in Germany, in America, and other developed countries, depending on their level of experience and certifications and skill. Again, we have cybersecurity, we have cloud architect, we have quantum computing. And number 7 is also very interesting because the world we are today, artificial intelligence is going to rule the world tomorrow, even from today. So it's an area where I'm challenging ladies and women to also go into, whether we like it or not. We've entered the era of artificial intelligence, and this is an important area that women can also make a big impact. Another one is blockchain. Today, fintech is all over the world. So the world is going to run on blockchain going forward. All the traditional banks we see today, they are going to be shrinking. They are not going to be big again. The last speaker talked about who is in Dublin. In Dublin today, you can hardly see a bank that has as many branches as the First Bank in Nigeria has, or that has as many branches as Union Bank in Nigeria has, because most things are done by fintech. So blockchain is a skill where women can also excel. And also digital marketing is a natural area for ladies. I would recommend for ladies who really don't like too much coding, digital marketing is one area they can go through. Design thinking, for those who are naturally talented as artists, and data visualization. This is a new area. Data visualization is about what is to come in the next 5 years, what is to come in the next 15 years. They are algorithm and they are experts in this area. So this skill also, we have zero unemployment. These are opportunities for ladies or for our children, girl child or even boy child who actually they are looking for big opportunity, next big thing to come. 11th one here, I put it as digital project management, product management, and digital business analysis. For people who don't like coding, I put it here, no coding skill, no hassle, no problem. So this is one area where women can also excel. They get paid as much as $150,000 yearly if you are very good in that. And then number 12, I put as green technology. Today on CNN about a week ago, it was Europe announced that from 2030, that's 7 years away, they will not be producing vehicle engine that actually use oil again. So everything will run on electric cars, on green energy. So for ladies who want to go into green, that's another big area. This one will continue to expand for the next 50 years. And then lastly, I put here, this is a very new area, complex problem-solving professionals. As we grow in technology, we are also creating problems simultaneously. So the world is going to need people who have skills in complex problem solving. For instance, we all know what flood is doing in Pakistan now. 30% of Pakistan land has been underwater for the past 6 months. We all know what cold is doing the northern pole. Even in the UK, it didn't used to be this cold, but UK extremely is cold now. Our madam from Dublin can also confirm that. So a lot of things are happening globally. So we need people who have complex problem-solving skills. So this is a new area, and there are training, there are applications that people can acquire. Here, I put barriers to women in tech space. Quickly, I listed about 10 barriers, and number 1, from the survey carried out, 46% of women say that the problem is lack of mentors, while 42% from the survey says that lack of female role models is a problem to them to become, to fulfill their potential. And another 13% complain about gender stereotypes. Oh, women are like this. Women are for this. Women are for kitchen. Women are for this. So 39% complain about gender stereotypes. And also 35% complain about unequal growth opportunities between male and female in corporate organizations. Also, some women complain about unrealistic and difficult deliverable goals. For instance, I have a staff who gave birth recently. She came back to say, oh, I always need about 1 year to recoup after every child is delivered. So some organizations are not flexible to allow a lady to go for 6 months or 1 year and still come back to the same job. For me, because I understand what it takes, I have a wife, I have a mother, so I run a flexible organization. So that staff, I allow her to go for 6 months, and after 6 months, she came back to still continue her job. But not many organizations are this flexible. Limited career advancement opportunities, especially in the executive level. Some women complain about that, and limited access to professional training and economic opportunities. And the next one, this is very, very recent and very, very pathetic. The authoritarian regimes is also not helping matters. The worst case is Afghanistan and Pakistan, and of course, North Korea. In Afghanistan, we all know what is happening now. Ladies are not allowed to have a lot of training. They are not allowed to go to school. Pakistan the same, North Korea the same. So the rise of authoritarian regime is actually affecting ladies in tech as well. Also, number 9, lack of resources and high cost of devices and high cost of internet data. It's also another problem. And then, of course, climate change. Next step, what do I recommend that we should do going forward? One, I started by saying that it is scientifically proven that there is nothing in women's DNA that can make them, that should make them to be at the bottom of the class in ICT sector. Therefore, women must be encouraged to pursue their ICT ambition with resilience and single-mindedness to navigate the barriers and excel. In solving the barriers, I itemize 5 foundational pillars that we need to work upon. The first pillar is infrastructure. Especially in Nigeria and Africa, the cost of infrastructure is very high. In India, in Singapore, South Korea, internet is free. It's like human rights opportunity. But in Nigeria and some other African countries, it's extremely expensive. So we need to address the digital infrastructure if we want to help our women to grow more in this digital space. The second point is the legal framework. One of the speakers, the first speaker I remember, talk about some banks still asking some women to bring their husband or to bring a male before they can be allowed to do certain things. These are anachronistic policies, which all of us have to advocate for its eradication if we really are serious about helping women to grow faster. And then digital financial services, and then digital businesses and digital skills. So what do we do specifically to really make this our meeting here to count? Somebody last week I talked about what are the specific points or action points which we should do so that we're not living here just to talk. We're also living here with some action points that we should all live here and we become a champion of those action points. The first point I listed here is affirmation or quota system. We've all witnessed how affirmation helps. For instance, there was a time we had a government in Nigeria, I think around 2011, Jonathan government, 35% of his cabinet, they were women. So that was as a result of affirmation then. He wanted to comply with the global affirmation of 35, 65%. And he was the first and probably the only president we've had in Nigeria that has actually complied with the affirmation or the quota system. The second point I listed here is that we have to strengthen gender responsive and social protection and state service delivery. A lot of women are harassed on the internet. This discourages, especially the young ones, around 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. These ones, they are very fragile. So once they meet so much resistance online, they actually withdraw. The top point I put here is that we have to support women's movement like TAD. TAD, once again, I really want to thank you for this great innovation you are doing. So we need to encourage and support all the women's movement, the serious ones, not just the ones who just talk, but the serious ones who are ready to advance women's cause like TAD. The fourth one I put here is that they have to expand broadband coverage and make the internet affordable. There are so many rural areas in Nigeria today that they don't have internet. So we need to, government has to do this. And if government is not doing that, NGOs have to step in and do some. The fifth point I put here is amplify various international initiatives and localize them. We have a couple of international initiatives from ITU, from EIF, from Equals Global Partnership. So one of the initiatives is Tech as a Driver of Women Economic Opportunity. So we have to localize some of these international initiatives in our different communities. And we also have the United Nations E-Trade for Women initiatives and Girls for Equal. Number 6 point I put here as an action point, I said, I've heard of such wonderful initiative as Pad a Girl. I'm therefore recommending to TAD to actually come up with a similar initiative in the digital space, which I tag No Girl is Left Behind Digitally. So we must come up with a kind of mission that will amount to something big in the next 10 years. So I title it No Girl is Left Behind Digitally, NGLBD, with a target of raising about 1,000 digital girls every month. And this is achievable, not just in small IT, not in Word, Excel, PowerPoint, but specifically in 4.0 skills. 4.0 skills are the skills that command a lot of money today, and also that's where we have biggest opportunities, things like data science, things like blockchain, and the rest of them. And I feel that if we are empowering deliberately, consciously, 1,000 girls monthly for the next 10 years, the gap we see today will have almost reached, we'll be getting to parity in the next 10 years. And for us as an organization, I put it to TAD. Our company, New Horizon, is a US-based company, and we are the largest in the world. We operate in 90 countries. And I put it to TAD that when TAD is ready to actually empower girls to bridge the digital gap, we are going to give you a one-for-one deal, so that for every girl that TAD is ready to sponsor, New Horizon will also sponsor one that is nominated by TAD, free of charge, so that if you want to do 500, New Horizon will also train 500 for you free, so making 1,000 girls to be trained monthly or quarterly or biannually or even yearly, as whatever is possible for you. I believe it is by taking concrete steps like this that our meeting of today will not have been a waste. In conclusion, I use a lady who actually inspires me a lot. Sabra is a Jew lady who migrated to US at age 6. Her family was poor, they were struggling, but she struggled to acquire IT skills. Today, Sabra is the CEO of one of the biggest technology companies in the world called Oracle. We all know Oracle, we all use Oracle. They are the master in database. They have a revenue of over $50 billion annually, which is far bigger than what Nigeria makes from oil, from everything we do for 220 million people. So Sabra is the CEO of Oracle today, and she's beautiful, brilliant, but more importantly, she's a billionaire, and she made her money from technology. I challenge all the ladies listening to me today, especially those who still want to acquire skills. And I'm also challenging those who will be reading these slides online or those who will be watching it on YouTube, that if Sarah can do it, there is no lady, there is no girl that cannot do the same. I exploit in the tech world, it serves to serve as an inspiration to ladies in technology. And I conclude by saying that after all, Ada Lovelace, who is widely acclaimed to be the first programmer in the world, was a she. It wasn't a he. So it is in you as ladies, and it is in your DNA. Be a Sabra, be a Lovelace, and be you. And as I was preparing this slide early this morning, this picture came out, and I said, wow, this is quite relevant to what we are discussing today. I'm going to use it here. This is the Scotland cabinet. This was formed about a few hours ago. And in this picture, we can all see that we have 60% women as members of cabinet in Scotland. My conclusion is that women are doing it in the political space. Politically, women have arrived. And I believe strongly on the last note that technologically, women will also arrive, and it will be very soon. Thank you so much for listening to me. I can take your question now. Thank you.
So, thank you very much. As usual, always very, and highly thought-provoking. You have raised the bar, and I'm quite sure that from our viewers across the world, they have one or two things to say or comments to make. And then please, if you need this information, I'm taking the liberty of our Oga, that is going to be on our website, so you can just go there and then also learn from there, because as you have heard, he's our partner, and we're going to be doing quite a lot, together in terms of training, in terms of empowerment, and in terms of knowledge sharing. And again, on behalf of TAD, thank you very much, Mr. Akongo. As usual, you are always there for us. We really appreciate you, and God will bless you for all you are doing for Africa. Thank you very much, sir. Please just hang around. I'm sure there will be questions, because I've seen a lot of commendations coming from the chat box. If there's any question, please raise your hand. Someone has, let's see, a hand raised here. Okay. What's her name?
Okay, thank you so much. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, sir. Okay, so you're welcome. So
thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. Tim, for this impactful session. And thank you so much for giving women a chance to express themselves even in your organization. And I know that you have gotten this knowledge, and you've gotten this exposure, and you have given women an opportunity to grow. But we have other women, other men out there who do not believe in this opportunity. Now, I want to ask, I also know that marriage can also stand as an hindrance to a lady taking up a career, either in tech or any other field. So what can we do to also encourage other men out there to act like you? And I want to also share a story from one of the programs I attended yesterday. There was a lady who had a fully sponsored scholarship to travel outside Nigeria to go and do. But when she went back to share the good news with her husband said, no, you cannot do masters before me. That means you cannot travel. And he's not the one to pay for the scholarship. The scholarship is fully funded. And at the end of the day, the man did not allow her to go, and she did not eventually travel for that scholarship. And I feel that her dream was dashed. So in a situation like this, what can we do to also make other men out there, even in marriage, to encourage guys, encourage their girl child, encourage other female out there to get to that height they really want to attend to in life? Because some young person will actually just do it very well, but immediately they get into marriage, you notice that their voice will be silent and they will not do so well as they used to. So please, what can we do to encourage other men out there to be like you and also encourage females to scale? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question. I think a lot has to do with the women movement organization like TAD. They have to be sending questionnaires out to organizations yearly to do survey. What kind of policy do you have for women who are pregnant? What kind of policy do you have for women who are struggling to get pregnant? I use that word consciously. For instance, have a staff who needed to be with a doctor in the UK for about 5 months. In January, she came around and said, you know, I've been struggling for pregnancy and I have to go to UK. I will have to be away for 5 months, but I don't want to resign. I don't want to lose my job. I still want to come back to this job after the operation in UK. I allowed her to go because when she's happy, she'll come back and add more value to the organization. So I think a lot has to do with women organizations like that. They have to be sending questionnaires out to organizations every year. What are your policies towards women who deliver babies? Like I told you, it said every time she delivers, she will need at least 6 months to recover. Not many organizations will allow that kind of a thing, but I allow that because it's part of our own policy that we must be gender sensitive. So it's incumbent on NGOs to actually come out and champion whatever you want. When you champion it, more people get to know and more organizations will. For instance, there was a time in this Nigeria when one company says, a bank that says, okay, you cannot get pregnant. If you join us, if you are a lady and you are not 2 years yet on the payroll, you cannot get pregnant. But people raised, they shouted, and I'm sure that bank actually will do that policy. So we have to take action. So that's the answer to your question. Thank you.
Any other question? I think I saw Dr. Talatu. Your hand is up. Are you there, madam? Doc, are you?
Yes,
You're
can you hear
ready,
me,
Dr.
please?
Talatu?
Okay, thank you very much, Agabi.
Okay, you're
I'm
welcome.
very happy. I listened to the last speaker, the presenter. He presented quite thought-provoking and quite informative and using real statistics and so on and so forth. And that was very, very wonderful presentation. Thank you very much, sir. And I also like to commend you and also thank you for your generosity and for your ability to want to train girls and women. And that was a very good one. Thank you very much and God bless you.
Thank you.
Yes, I work with a lot of women groups, okay, like the NCWS, which has grassroots presence or presence at the grassroots community. And please, while you bring on women or select women to participate in this your training, and I'm talking to you, sir, and also Agabi, please, I want you to deliberately, okay, bring on board women, okay, who are at the community level, okay, who are being disadvantaged because of their location and because of their gender, okay, but are willing, okay. You can choose to explore the NCWS, which has a presence in as far as community level, okay, to draw on membership, okay. We know that women who are and girls who are at the urban centers have more opportunities, okay, have more infrastructure that could support their learning in technology and innovation, okay, but target people who are at the community level and rural areas and do something to bring them on board, okay? That is the way we do to reduce the gender inequality. We can learn from what is happening in this country of Rwanda, okay? There was an international organization that targeted women at community level, empowering them with digital devices and digital skills to showcase the little things and the businesses they do. Okay? Yeah, thank you very much. And also we can see how we can network with these international organizations that are ready to partner and fund initiatives just like this to be able to teach women and bring women on board in terms of technology and innovation. Thank you very much. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, madam.
Any other suggestion, please? So there are so many questions on the chat box, and we are praying that they send all of those questions to info.
Mrs. Adenuga is raising her hand from Dublin.
Yes, yes. Adenuga is here from Ireland.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I just, once again, I want to say thank you to the last presenter. God bless you, sir. So powerful, very informative, very actionable. These are the kind of things I'm talking about. Not just presentations, but things that can be actioned. Quick wins that we can have within our society. And that's exactly what you did. So thank you so much. And I just want to quickly touch on the last question that was asked about how we can encourage, how we can get our men to understand better and how marriage impacts on decisions that affect women. It's very systemic. That's the truth of the matter. It is embedded in our system in Nigeria, in Africa, our culture and traditions, and all of these things that we've grown up with, the norms, they impact all of these decisions that men make. I mean, think back to it. Men have been told from time immemorial, and it still exists in some cultural parts, that a woman is his property and he can do with her what he wills. So this is built in the system. And if we're going to solve these problems, we have to start from a systemic change. It has to come from the grassroots, from culture and tradition. And so there's a lot of work to be done in that regard. This is also where the NGOs come into place, as has been mentioned by our speaker. NGOs have a huge role to play to try and advocate for a mind shift, a change, a total reorientation. That's what we need. And for our elders to understand that culture evolves, and the things that they shared years ago were based on their limited knowledge at those times. Times have changed. Those things can still not govern our lives. And last but not the least, to say that media has a huge role as well to play in this. Think about when media really wants to push propaganda, whether it's print media or broadcast media, and they repeat the same message over and over and over again until it grows on you. And before you know it, you're already singing the song of that promo or that advert. You're cooking in your kitchen and you catch yourself singing that song, right? And it's a simple promo. It's the same way we have to give a mind shift by promoting things that enable gender equity. Now, for years, we've been talking about equality. And I've always said there is no equality without equity. Equity is when you give somebody exactly what they need to be able to perform as good as everybody else. So it's not just about saying we need equality, we need equality. We're all different. We will all always be different. Men will be different from, even siblings are different, people who come from the same mother and father. But equity guarantees that when you get what you require to perform to the best of your ability, you would deliver fantastically. And that's what we should be pushing for. And that's where the media comes in, selling messages that empower women, that enable women. I want to challenge those who work in the media industry who are on this platform to begin to look at ways of public service announcements or public service information that help to change our orientation. Telling people, if you empower a girl, you're empowering a nation, all those little affirmations that we make, but pushing it out to the general public. That way, the message is not just reaching a small cohort of people in a village or in a town. It's reaching the entire nation, all at the same time. Thank you.
Umi Hassan is back. I know you know her very well. So she wants to say something. Doc, we're listening. Hello, Doc.
Sorry, good afternoon. Good afternoon, sir.
You're welcome back.
Can you hear me, sir? Thank you, sir. It's so nice to have Uncle Tim speak to us again. And that was very insightful. I would just like to share briefly that, like we mentioned earlier, and it's been alluded to, we need to mention a lot of skills that had been said, the IT, renewable greens, and all of them. It is very important for many of us to realize that we need to build capacity in some of this team. I actually know, if I'd known, maybe I could have shared a few slides while I was making my presentation. But one of the things that is very crucial is that we have a lot of technical skill. While I was listening to Uncle Tim, one of the things that occurred to me is that where do we need some of these things locally? Because if we need to answer some of these questions, it will help us to be guided in what kind of skill we really need to invest into. Because if somebody goes, for instance, and finish learning a particular, even in artificial intelligence, in robotics, and there is nobody in Nigeria that will need your skill or will buy your product or will be interested in what you have learned, that's a major challenge. So I really want to believe that with START coming up and celebrating our Dr. Dokwesi for this initiative, I think it's long overdue, and I'm very excited that she started this, is that we need to begin to aggregate what is our need assessment. Which sector in Nigeria do we need this intervention, and how do we make the intervention work? So that when we are learning, we will know that we are relevant and we'll be able to use whatever skills we have learned. And this is my submission. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Any other hand raised? Any question or comment? We have so many questions on the chat box. We encourage that you send all of those to our email, which is just info@tad-foundation.org. And I want to use this opportunity to thank Dr. Tim Akaon for the opportunity, to partner with that foundation. And let me also let you know that that foundation accepts your partnership with whole, with all the thanks, and we'll be coming to you for the implementation. God bless you for that. And we need more of such partnership to help us, achieve all of these things that we have talked about today. The digital gov, the digital, woman, we need to have that, and how we can achieve, how we can bridge that gap, because it comes from environment, it comes from skills, it comes from knowledge, it comes from education, all of this, and then cultural barriers too. So we have to find a way to ensure that we bridge all of these gaps. So if you have any other questions, okay, another hand is up. That is Oluwatobi, right? Okay, so you're on.
Okay.
You're on. Yeah, thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Oluwatoni Falade, founder of Child Online Protection Network. And I'm not talking about child online protection at this point. I just want to add that while you are at your initiative about sponsoring trainings in IT, please let us consider schools. I was invited to do career talks in some of the schools. And I can remember that whenever I say, how many of you want to study IT? You have like, say 10 guys and probably one girl, sometimes none. And for me, I think it's beyond whether they know what IT is. I'm sure most of them know, but the interest, I don't know. So I just want to add that while you are at it, please go to schools and see what you can do at the secondary school level, just to increase their interest, their knowledge, their whatever it is you can do to increase the numbers. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that contribution. As a matter of fact, we, as an organization, we train about 70,000 students yearly, and we train them from 150 high schools across Nigeria and 25 universities like Babcock, all of them. We, from the Youth Corpus side, NYC side, we're actually their main partner. We give as much as 20,000 scholarships to Youth Corpus every year to learn IT. So this is what we've been doing for the past 17 years. And 2 days ago, we gave training vouchers for 1,000 students of Obafemi Awolowo University, just to celebrate their Tech Week, which is coming up in May. This includes boys and girls anyway. So it's just that Nigerian population is so huge. So even the 70,000 I tell you we do, is still like a drop of water in the ocean. So that's why I'm challenging all of us. We may not do 1,000. If it's one you want to do, if you sponsor one, we are going to give you one bag. So bring two, and then we sponsor one on your behalf. So by the time we do this, I do 20,000 students every year from Youth Corpus, giving them scholarship just to come and learn here. And we managed to get most of them from their first degree now to go into IT. So, but it's still a drop in the ocean. So I'm challenging all of us, let's do something about the future of Africa. One of my boys came from UK just yesterday, and he said, his name is Mubarak. He said, sir, I'm scared. I said, why are you scared? He said, the level at which Chinese and British and Americans have gone, and South Koreans, with AI. And we are just here talking about elections. Am I sure that in the next 20 years, there will still be Africans? I said, well, that's a challenge for you. That's a challenge for me. So truly, things are happening globally in the AI area that if we don't wake up, the percentage of useless people today in the world is put at 40%. Useless people are the people that artificial intelligence is going to replace their work as of today. But in the next 10 years, it's been put at 70%. That means we are going to have 70% of people in the world useless. They can't, there are nothing, no role for them again. So which means if we don't wake up early, Africa will be the bulk of the 70% useless people. But it mustn't be so. Now with this kind of initiative of TAD, New Horizon and Co, we should ensure that we are not the bottom of the class going forward. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. Any other comment before we call the ED to give a closing remark on this? It's been very educative, and someone was raising other issues about cyberbullying and all that. I know that is within the purview of child online protection. We'll discuss that another day. Any other person there? So is she going to give the closing remark? Okay, so right now we are going to turn over to which one? Virtually, okay. The photograph before. Okay, so please, if you are on, we have over 50 here. Please turn on your camera so that we can have a group photograph before the sign off from our ED here. Thank you very much. Please turn on your camera. Please turn on your camera so that we can. Okay, turn on your camera. This is quite impressive. This is the first in its series, and I know a lot is coming. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. We can see so many. Okay. you, guys. I think that's enough, right? Okay. So you go back there now. Okay, I think we've been able to address most of the issues. I just saw, Nancy Naji just now. So why are you hiding? I expect you to say something. Nancy, activate her voice. Activate her. She's running away. She just there as an observer. That's her, that's her. Nancy, I saw you there. You can't hide. Hello? Can I hear you? Okay, so we turn over now to the ED, who's going to give the closing remark, and then a thank you to all of you for participating. And thank you very much. Please activate the ED so that she can. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, Dr. Bayero. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah. It's been a wonderful time. About 2 hours we've been here learning a lot from our speakers. I'd like to thank them. Dr. Wumi started, and some of the things I picked from her is that women must be ready. We must be ready, and that we must go beyond what we were taught. Just what we've done here now, as Councillor Yemi also said, what happens after this? We've learned so much. Let's run with what we've learned. It shouldn't just be in our books or in our jotters. Some people have been asking for the recording. I want to believe we'll go over again, and whatever we need to do, we'll make that move. She said we should play with our brains. Don't just sit there and wait for things to happen. Make that move. Thank you very much, Dr. Wumi Hazan. And she said, what you don't know, you cannot give. So before you can give, you must know. And how do you know? You need to read, you need to take action, running after you for a difference. Let the men start running after the women. Let's make the difference. And there are several opportunities out there. Hadiza has also gone. She said she was at the airport traveling. A big thank you to her too for what she was able to share with us, to pass on the information. As you get the information, don't just hide it, don't hoard it, share it. By sharing, we'll make great impacts, we'll make a difference in our world. All the speakers talked about mentoring, mentorship, very essential. There are young ones out there looking up to those of us who are not up there, but who are also moving up. So don't just keep moving up. Look behind you and see who you can take along with you from what we learn every day. And she talked about jobs out there for everyone. There shouldn't be any job just meant for the man or just meant for the woman. Whatever job is out there, as a woman, go for it. Don't restrict yourself that this is a man's world. It's not a man's world. God created the world for both male and female. Madam Talatu, thank you very much for your contribution. We all have something to give. We should ask, we should approach, we should talk. Councillor Yemi Adenuga, thank you also for your contribution. And Dr. Tim Akano, we've taken up all the promises you've given us. We'll definitely be running after you to make sure we implement most of what you have offered us here. We're not just going to let it go by. No girl is left behind digital, NGLBD. That's a great one, which we will pursue. And we talked about what you allow your own women to do. And Councillor Yemi also talked about having some announcement out there, playing it every day. Some of us work in the media, as she said, and we'll try to do our best to pass on this information to everyone to know that the girl out there should be encouraged. The girl child should be encouraged from age 2, age 3. They should not feel because they are girls, they must be the only one in the kitchen. the kitchen is not meant for just the girls. If the men can eat the food, then they should also be in the kitchen. We'll take up all this partnership you have offered us, Dr. Akano. We're very grateful. And Africa cannot be useless. We must become very useful. Thank you very much to everyone who participated. As I said, I hope what we've been able to pick from here.
Okay, so we're just giving a brief to end this session. Okay, I think maybe I'll take it off from here. So if she comes back in another 1 or 2 minutes, then we can conclude with that. So on behalf of the management and the executive director, I'd like to thank all of you for coming on, not just coming on, for staying. You know, I know it's not easy, you know, you come on the virtual platform and then you stay all through the day. You know, I thank you all on behalf of everyone here. If you have any information, if you have any inquiries, please send them to info@tad-foundation.org. And if you need any information in terms of training, partnership, and all that, please log on to www.tad-foundation.org. Thank you very much for coming on, and let you say it again if she's still online, so that maybe we can take that. Yes, let's see. Okay, she's gone off. Okay, on her behalf, okay, she's there. Okay, so Edie, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, okay, she's there. Okay, we can hear you. We can hear you. We can hear you.
Sorry, did you ask? I lost signal a bit. I didn't get what you asked.
It's okay. You know, it's just to round up. You were saying something.
Oh, I have.
Okay, it's okay. Okay.
I have. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for coming on. Thank you for your time. And to everyone, don't forget, if you forget the email, don't forget the website. You just